There are listeners right now that are thinking, I don't have time. I don't know what my thing is, so I don't
Yeah.
know how to start, and are subconsciously or consciously waiting for a lightning bolt of magical motivation to come down and say, this is you. So what would be your advice to someone listening and think, I don't want my story to sort of
Yeah.
end in sort of just current state. I want something like this, but I just don't know how to start, or I don't have time for this. What would be your beacon of inspiration?
I love this question because I bet, first of all, I think if I hadn't had that catalyst of that conversation at that dinner party, I don't know if I would have known how to find the thing. I might have meandered along for a much longer time. I don't know what would have happened. But that said, now I actually think there's a couple of ways you can get at this. One is, what would you do? What do you enjoy doing? If time and money were not an issue for you, like, what do you like to do? What is something that you are intrinsically motivated to do because of joy and not extrinsically motivated by a paycheck or checking a box or getting a medal, right? What is something you would choose to do? And that, I think a lot of people probably have those inklings of things and they just don't think they have permission to do it because it doesn't fuel like some goal that we've set for ourselves, a KPI we're monitoring in society, a key performance indicator. So that's number one in thinking about those things. We talked earlier about, childhood, and finding something you were made fun of or not good at as a kid and getting really good at it can become a superpower. So I think thinking back of those things where I thought I loved athletes growing up. I idolized girls who were playing sports. I was born 1 year before Title IX, and I envied the confidence that they walked down those high school and those junior high halls with. So I think thinking back to those moments can be very helpful to get that spark. And then, like I said before, just taking one step. You do not need to boil the ocean. Don't try and climb Mount Everest in a day. Figure out what your base camp is going to be and take tiny steps, even if it's one thing a week to make a change that can start.
We were talking about building mini victories.
Yes, I
Like
love
that's
that.
a huge thing, right? Rather than the whole bridge all the way around.
Yeah, and I guess one thing that's really coming up for me is this concept of identity and allowing yourself to have a new identity at any point in your life. And you found the identity of an athlete. But for maybe any of our listeners, it could be artist or it
Mhm.
could be cook or it could be whatever it is. But it's this idea of just stepping outside of that comfort zone and allowing yourself to grow at any point.
My best friend, he became a volunteer firefighter. He just turned 60,
Oh,
and he is now about to become captain. And that was something he never thought, that he could ever be. And there's just so many journeys or things we think we're too old for, or we think that we're not wired for, or no one's, like I said in the beginning, no one's ever said you can be this. But it interested him. He had been driving by the firehouse every, like, week, and he would always be like, "Oh, look, there's the fire," and finally, we were just like, "Look, go in, make a call," and he did, and now he's like, years later, the confidence he has from that. So, you're so right, Kelly, it can be almost anything, but you've gotta find the thing that, again, excites you and that you wanna do on the days even when you don't feel like it. That when you don't have time, you still wanna get up and do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask about rewards a little bit. And what I mean by this is you've gone on this amazing journey. We work with a lot of time-starved people, time-starved parents, time-starved executives, etc., CEOs. And sometimes when people think about taking on a challenge, I'm going to sign up for an Ironman, or I'm going to train for a marathon, I'm going to do a high rocks, whatever it might be, it can be viewed sometimes as a selfish endeavor. It's like, I'm already busy. And certain people externally can sometimes say, well, hang on, they've got their role at work, they've got their families, and now they're doing this. Engaging and committing to this lifestyle, this sport, Spartan, what is it delivered to you as a person, and particularly for our executives listening, professionally? How's it changed you? You've talked a lot about confidence. You've talked about the physical and the mental. How has it changed you professionally and in broader life?
It's interesting, I was thinking about this the other day, Matt, which is that when I now meet executives and leaders and I ask them about things that are beyond what they do for work, the ones who can't come up with an answer, I have real questions about how they're going to be as a leader.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have something beyond just it doesn't mean you can't be fully committed to your work. But I have a lot more belief in people as leaders when they have something else that is profoundly important to them and they're investing in, because I think it makes them understand this vision of a whole self. And bringing that whole self into the workplace, they can be more understanding for the people that work with and for them. I think they will make better, more clear decisions. I think they won't be angst ridden over everything and micromanage people. So uh, I have a lot of confidence in people who have built out their whole self as executives, and I find that they're actually better leaders. So I would encourage, part of this is people have to decide for themselves that they're not going to be embarrassed by this. And I think everybody probably has something that is important to them, and they try, as you were saying, not to talk about it too much at work, lest you seem somehow like you're not fully committed. But the more we do talk about, the more we find commonalities. And I find those commonalities are the things that make teams even better. Because when you have that shared ethos and you're sharing those experiences, you come together. And I find people work together, they're more collaborative. I took a bunch of folks at my last job on a Spartan race we just ran as a team and did that. We were very close after that. And I'm sure you all experience this in all the work that you do.